Mike Dell's World, number 262 for November 2nd, 2017. And this is National Podcast Posting Month. And this is my second episode of this year's Posting Month, or NaPodPoMo. Anyway. So, this is about 10:30 at night on November 2nd, and I had a good day. I actually had a day off from my day job and had to go take care of some business related to ham radio. Went to the Region 7 board meeting for the, Homeland Security. And I'm the District 7 emergency coordinator / radio officer for District 7 of Michigan. And as part of that job, I have to go to the monthly meeting. I don't have to. I'm invited as a guest to the Homeland Security Board meetings, which is kind of cool. Got to hang out with a bunch of the emergency managers from the counties around here, and this time a couple of radio personalities, because one of the subjects of the meeting was the emergency broadcast system, or what is it? It used to be called EBS, now it's called EAS, Emergency Alert System. You know, that's that weird emergency signal you hear on broadcast stations, mostly when they test. But anyway, got to hear about the state's plans of maybe improving that. I don't know. I think it's kind of a federal thing. I don't know much about it other than when I do my radio show over at WNMC. Periodically, I get a EBS test or an EAS test. And it just comes in and squawks, and then Jack O'Malley from WTCM Radio comes in and says, "This is just a test," and whatever he says, and then it squawks again, and then it goes back to whatever I was playing. So, kind of cool. Anyway, I got to meet Jack today, and also another radio station engineer and former owner of a group of radio stations was there, who's a friend of mine. So Dell Reynolds, got to see him, and it was, like I said, good time. Then went out to lunch at Big Boy Restaurant, and I don't know if you got Big Boy where you're at. In Michigan, we have just plain old Big Boy restaurants. In Ohio and I think Indiana, there's Frisch's Big Boy. I think a little bit further south it's Shoney's Big Boy, and out west it's Bob's Big Boy. But and I think there's more of them around because Big Boy is kind of it's a weird franchise. I did a little research about them. In fact, I might do a whole episode about Big Boy. It's an interesting thing. But one of the differences between all the different Big Boy restaurants is how they do the Big Boy hamburger. That's the original double-decker. McDonald's always thinks that the Big Mac was the biggest one, or, the first one. That's not true. That was invented out west at Bob's Big Boy in, I believe, what is that? Not Anaheim. What's the Burbank? Yeah, the beautiful Burbank, California. Bob's Big Boy there. That seems to be one of the more famous Big Boy restaurants. That's where they have the big cruises, and Jay Leno sometimes shows up over there with some crazy car or motorcycle. But anyway, if you get a Big Boy hamburger in California at Bob's Big Boy, you get mayonnaise and purple relish as the main condiment. And in Michigan here, what used to be known as the Elias Brothers Big Boys, but now it's just called Big Boy. They don't have any additional thing to it. Those big boy restaurants use, I don't know, it looks like Thousand Island, kind of tastes like Thousand Island sauce as the special sauce that goes on the big boy hamburgers. And in Ohio, they use tartar sauce, and really darn good tartar sauce, I must say. Every time I go down to the office in Columbus, my home office for the company I work for is in Columbus, Ohio. Every time I go down there, I make sure I make a stop at Frisch's Big Boy and get a jar or two of their tartar sauce and have a Big Boy hamburger with tartar sauce. It sounds weird, but good stuff. And for a while up here, and they don't do that anymore, but they had the California-style Big Boy and the Ohio-style Big Boy and the Michigan-style Big Boy all on the same menu. But the Ohio-style Big Boy was not as good here as it was at the original Frisch's Big Boy restaurants. But anyway, I had intentions of actually doing a podcast from the road. And actually, I am going to do one, at least one this month from the road. I don't know where I'll be traveling, but I will do one from the road because I enjoy doing that and I have the setup to do it. So, and I had real good intentions of doing that. But after the meeting, like I said, I had lunch with my assistant district coordinator, guy by the name of Chuck, who lives up in Mackinac City. And, we discussed a few things and had lunch. And what was kind of funny is my mom texts me, and she's got me on Find My Friends. And she says, "What are you doing over in Grayling?" And I said, "Well, I was over here for a meeting, and then I'm going to go up to Gaylord." And I was on my way to Gaylord when she texted me. So, pull off side of the road, always safe. Pull off side of the road, answered her. And she said, "Well, that's funny. I'm going to meet a friend of mine there. They're going down to a conference in Lansing, and they were going to meet up at the Big Boy there and ride down together." So I missed them by about a half an hour. So that was kind of interesting. But anyway, I went up to Gaylord, which is the next town north from Grayling, where the meeting was, and got to go to Jay's Sporting Goods. It's a big regional sporting goods and hunting, all that kind of stuff. And I just kind of wandered through there, looked at a couple of pistols. I'm thinking about switching from 40 caliber to 9mm with my Glock, or Glocks, I should say. And so I went there and looked at a couple of 9mm Glocks. I really don't like the 4th and 5th gen Glocks, but a whole different subject. Maybe we'll talk about that at some point. But then I met another friend of mine at his one of his workplaces, a transmitter site near Kalkaska, Michigan. Got to hang out there, got the nickel tour of the broadcast facility there. He was out there doing some work on the transmitter equipment there, and was taking a break just as I happened to be in the neighborhood. So I went and did that, and then later on went to dinner with him and another friend from Ohio that were in town. So it's been a kind of a social day. No actual work was performed. Well, actually, a little bit. I got up early and took care of a few things, but tomorrow I'll be back at it and get an email box full of stuff. Have been working on the website over at MikeDell.com and /MikeDell.org. I've kind of split my blog off to MikeDell.org, and then I've got MikeDell.com, and of course that's the home of the podcast here. So I don't know. I've been testing out different WordPress installations from different hosting companies, for work. But I don't know. I just felt like I had the domain and thought, well, all right, I'll throw that up on another hosting plan and see how that works. We're working on some new products over at Blueberry, my day job, and getting ready to to launch those, and so I get to test some of that stuff too whilst I'm at it. So that's the story here. This is day 2 of National Podcast Posting Month, and I'm keeping up so far, even though it's 10:30 at night. Anyway, catch me tomorrow.